Hello again, hunters! Did you see? Our last video sparked a lot of discussion. Ideas, debates, wish lists, and a few passionate demands. If you haven't seen it yet, then go and check it out. Today, we're doing exactly what we said we would do. Looking through your comments, pulling out the biggest themes, and talking through what we're seeing. Let's start with the most talked about topic by far, co-op and multiplayer. Now, these two were mentioned over 25 times across the comments, with a lot of you saying it would really help to bring friends into the game or expand on replayability, and we completely understand why this comes up. The world of ZERO Sievert feels like one you'd want to survive together. But to be clear and transparent, as we've said before, co-op is not coming to ZERO Sievert 1. The game just wasn't built with multiplayer systems in mind, and adding it would mean restructuring the entire game from the ground up. And that's just not something we realistically can do. It would actually just make more sense to rebuild the game from scratch with an experienced team of developers who took all of the learnings from ZERO Sievert and implemented them in a way that just made sense. That being said, we hear how strong the desire is and is certainly something we're keeping in mind when we're thinking long term. The second biggest request was new locations. Over 20 comments asked for new maps or new types of zones, with ideas ranging from nuclear facilities, submarine bases, abandoned military airports, shipwrecks, and high-risk late-game farming zones. This lines up with feedback that we've been seeing elsewhere, and while no new maps are on the horizon, expanding and refreshing the places you raid is certainly an area we'd like to see more updates. Around 10 to 12 comments focused on factions and roleplay choices, such as joining bandits, more faction-specific quests, a bad guy playthrough, and reputation changing how NPCs treat you. This is something we actually really like conceptually, giving players more agency in who they align with and how this changes the world fits ZERO Sievert well. It's not something we can flip on overnight, but it's very much the kind of feedback that helps guide future design. One idea which was surprisingly popular was pets. About 10 comments or so suggested a dog or cat in the bunker, rescue missions, or a companion that greets you when you extract. But this may be one more for the talented modders out there. A fair few comments focused on combat frustrations and improvements, such as boars clipping into players, enemies being silent or overly accurate, AI not reacting to grenades, and NPCs needing more varied behavior, ranks, or tactics. We completely agree that combat should feel dangerous, but fair, and when something feels cheap or unreadable, that's a problem worth fixing. So we'll see what we can do here to correct the most egregious issues. We also had several recurring quality of life themes come up, including better inventory sorting and stack splitting, clearer collision and pathing around objects, better tutorials and explanations of hidden mechanics, UI improvements and readability, and performance issues when opening large inventories. None of these are flashy features, but they all matter. And a lot of recent updates have already been driven by this exact kind of feedback. So if this continues to be a theme moving forward, we'll take a closer look. And finally, a strong group of comments talked about what happens after the story. Specifically the endgame feeling thin, new game ideas, repeatable high-risk quests, seasonal or dynamic events, and hideout relevance falling out late game. Giving players meaningful reasons to keep pushing deeper into the zone is aspirational for us, but we're also very aware that spending a lot of time in this area will mean not developing content or experiences that less seasoned hunters will be able to experience. We want to find a balance when developing these two areas, and this is where your ideas come in extremely useful. Big thank you again to everyone for leaving comments on the last video, and if you forgot or meant to leave one, feel free to put it on this video. Last week, the most reported issues were performance, controller support, and Steam Deck. For performance, if you have a 4060 and are getting 40 to 50 FPS, then your PC is most likely using the CPU for graphics instead of the graphics card. I had this exact problem with my Razer Blade laptop. Nothing against the laptop, it was just Windows being a bit silly. And unfortunately, this is an engine issue and not something we can fix. But you can! To do this, have a quick Google for setting default GPU in Windows and you'll find a guide. And for controller support in Steam Deck, we know the controller support could be better, but in a game that was never intended to be played with a gamepad, it makes it quite difficult. We'll be making some big steps towards this year though, and we'll let you know as soon as you can expect an update. Now, thank you again. Seriously. All of the feedback that you give us is exactly why these videos exist. Even when we can't say yes to everything, reading through your ideas helps us to understand what excites you, what frustrates you, and where Zero Sievert needs to grow next. So keep the comments coming, keep the discussions going in Discord, and keep telling us what you want. Because the future of Zero Sievert is shaped just as much by you as it is by us. Until next time, hunters, take what you can, give nothing back.